Whoa, it's dark down here.
Hi, this is Sage Gillespie, and you're listening to Deep Dark Tunnel, episode
20.
We're here with Charley Bates. He's a producer from the Chicago area. He goes to Columbia College Chicago. Charley, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Charley. I'm a producer from the Chicago area.
Thank you for being on this episode.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Now, Charley and I talked a little bit earlier about subgenres within the electronic music scene. Charley, if you want to mention any artists you're listening to or any genres you're listening to right now, like, what are you listening to?
I've been listening to Limp Pumpo.
Yeah.
They posted the whole discography on YouTube. I think it's mostly off SoundCloud, but on YouTube, 5 hours.
Now, if you want to tell the average listener, if they don't know who Limp Pumpo is, the whole backstory, any lore you can go into, let them know.
Limp Pumpo is an amount of people. I don't know how many people, but they're all like on Twitter. Pretty like funny on Twitter, kind of popular. And they just make like drum and bass and like electronic music that's pretty, I guess, out there. It's wild. Very nice stuff.
That's cool. It's at Debo, right? That's
Debo.
That's one of the people. I didn't know it was a collective. I thought it was just him.
No, yeah, it's Jesus Bellucci, Ryan B, and a couple other people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know their acts. Forget it.
Yeah. Sort of like fusing together that whole Twitter music scene and like creating a different like community around that area. I feel like through the pandemic we realized that you don't need to be in person, you don't need studio time, you don't need people within your area to create this like community or following in most importantly like super niche and super specific subgenres.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has been going on for a while, but definitely the pandemic, of course, sort of elevated that. And Limp Pumpo is sort of a good example. They did like 4 or 5 quarantine raves on like Second Life.
Oh, really?
All of them were like 24 hours. It's all good. All of it is very good.
Do you feel like you're someone who can easily collaborate with someone they've never met, someone who's solely online, or do you feel like you need that in-person connection or backstory with a person to be willing to collaborate with them, musically speaking, of course?
I think I could collaborate with anyone. I'm not, turns out I'm not great at it, but you can do it. And the backstory doesn't really matter as long as I like them and like we want to do something that we're both interested in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We talked earlier before this interview about Charley's interest in broadcast radio. Now, Charley, be honest with me. Do you think that broadcast radio, FM radio, all those people, do you think it's a dying medium or do you think it's something that can be brought back for people our age?
I think it can be brought back, but it has to be completely different. Tuning into like actual radio, like airwaves, that's not really happening. But like internet radio with like Twitch or whatever, YouTube Live, you can do stuff like that. And I think like the idea of like a real like broadcaster is sort of like the skill sets you need to have is sort of dying. Like the most interesting radio has like a lot of cool like pre-recorded stuff, like barely anyone really live on it. Something like Shirley and Spinoza is a really good one. I think they're in China. It's really cool. But yeah, like just, playing like a couple songs and then you're like, you just heard this and this. Like people aren't really interested in that anymore, I don't think. And I'd also say that like something like Top 40 radio, like if you want to do this and like on the internet, you can't do Top 40 radio. You have to be super niche. I also believe that college radio is somewhat the future. I guess it's always sort of been a place where you can find actual cool music on the radio because it's just people with interests, like real interests, and people more close to your age, like the most famous radio guy is like Howard Stern. That dude, I can't relate to that dude.
Yeah.
So college radio, you get people who would know similar things as you and enjoy similar things as you. Radio like NTS is very good. Sort of, it's almost like community-based radio, and like there's one in New York, K-Piss, that one rules. You can just sign up and get an hour on the radio.
That's great.
Like, they'll just let you in, and like that's another thing that needs to be addressed, I guess. There's a lot of gatekeeping. You know, you start out on the radio, you play like midnight to 4 on Saturday, no one's gonna listen. And like it's a similar thing to how record companies and things like that are sort of dying with the internet. You can just do it yourself and just have your friends come along and people will enjoy it. I think there's different spaces for different sections. Like, I'd be more inclined to listen to like a newer artist that's from Nebraska and homegrown. But like, if I already like the band, you know, I guess they just have a lot of hype. Like, I'm thinking of like Black Midi or something. Like, they had their records very produced, and you know, it's like a real thing. But I think there's a little more leeway when you listen to something homegrown, where like it doesn't have to be this sort of perfect album. It has charm to it. Where like that Black Midi album is just so good. Like, it would have been good if it was recorded at their house, but it's sort of elevated when it's recorded in the studio.
Yeah.
Our buddy Aman just created this page, and just him and his friends would just post stuff on there. And he's like our friend, and basically he was like asking us, he's like, sort of like post stuff on here. Like, it would be cool to sort of have like a somewhat of, I guess, a collective, but also just sort of, I don't know, just a page for you to post stuff. And like it's sort of like, I don't know, it sounds weird, but it's like sort of freeing, because like the stuff I post on there isn't good stuff, you know, by most standards, but you can just post stuff, and like everyone posts stuff. Like, if you like shuffle that page, you'd hear someone's like practicing like their saxophone for like 20 minutes, and then you could hear like a 2-second like little clip. Like, there's just so much on there.
Yeah. It's amassing like so many diverse sections of like music and like, such a broad spectrum.
And I also think it's people who produce music and people who, I know that at least my friends, when we make music, like if we have downtime or like we just want to like mess around, we will just record the stupidest songs and just make them in like 5 seconds and like make an album's worth of music in a night. And I think there's something to that, like making that and then putting it on the internet. Like, I like that. It gives it like weird like merit.
Yeah.
It makes it cool.
Something about spontaneity of no middleman. You can just release it whenever you want, and like.
Yeah, and also it's like, there's like, I don't want, if you listen to the music, it's very goofy, but I don't want to sound too deep about it, but it's like, you can sort of feel like an energy there. Yeah. Where it's like, this was sort of spontaneous and made in a night, and like these people are just friends having fun. That's sort of like the Rockstar page is sort of all about. Yeah. And I like that being out there. Yeah. On the internet forever.
Can you tell us a little bit about your production style and like what you choose?
Well, when I'm making the records that you're about to hear, the Mountain Dew 3000 records, a lot of it is about sort of doing things like pretty much completely incorrectly. So I have the album Mountain Dew 3000 Plays the Hits, where I just do covers of songs, and I would just look up on YouTube how to play like Crazy Train. I would try to play it until I got it right once, and then you hit record and you play it as many times as you can. Yeah. Then you look up the lyrics and you just go for it. And all of the guitar on that album is recorded. I have it like monitored, it's coming out of the speakers, and then I put like a bass drum mic up to the speaker and just let it record the guitar like that. It's fun, and I made it in a night with my buddy Case. So it's all about having fun, doing things incorrectly, but if it sounds cool.
Do you think this is coming out of a sense of irony, or do you think you're seeing how far you can push it until you can get the sound you want, whatever that sound may be?
I don't know. I don't know if it's ironic. I've always liked like really dirty music. I don't know. I think it's spontaneous. It's just like, that would be a fun way to record guitar, and like that would be a fun album to make, like doing covers of like the lamest song like Wonderwall and like Viva La Vida. It'd be fun. It's just about having fun, really. And also like I like just got to college, no friends, depressed. Case comes over, let's do something, man. We got to do something. Make an album, have some fun.
Well, thank you so much for being on Deep Dark Tunnel. This is Charley Bates, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Now playing Mountain Dew 3000 plays the hits.
Pepsi bottle, a Coca-Cola glass. I don't give a damn.
Certified home classic. It's on good touch, 40 eats the touch. Run up, leave a wet. It's the Jimmy, dripping on that. Keep that on my side. Let it have wop on that type of time. Down a rock, I ain't got a block. You would think you love me when you call him a phone. If you blowing up my shit, I told her leave me alone. This wanted me to I only wanted to hurt it. But they don't want no when I get it's a different approach. It's their diet, but they really a rope. On the road, boys go down the road. Get it?
Are you an underground artist that wants to be featured on Deep Dark Tunnel? Check out our Instagram for more information at Deep Dark Tunnel Radio.
The Lotus City rises.